Welcome back to Fairy Tale Anime Review, episode number 15. hmm Yep, 15. This one reviewing the 282nd episode of the Fairy Tale anime, which is called The Purification Plan. Yep, this one covers chapters 430 to 432. Yeah, it picks up like right where last week's episode left off, with, of course, Natsu can explain that Gray was basically just a spy. Yeah, that's simply all it was. Spy, and he had to go undercover by crime sorcier. He was asked. Urza was asked by Jalal to investigate Avatar because of their connection to Zareth. And turns out this one particular group of people, they're not the only people part of this organization. It's a massive organization. And there's many branches. So their plan is to destroy this town. They're planning to kill this and destroy this entire city and its residents just to get Zareth's attention. Yeah, that's seriously their plan. So, Fairy Tail's strongest team goes out to stop them. How do they get there? Riding giant cats. I'm not kidding. Not horses, cats. And Natsu does not get sick by riding an animal, but he does get sick riding on vehicles, like riding a train or a boat, but not animals. They get there, and of course Urza basically got her own cat, I think she rides a horse. Yeah, she rides a horse. Also, Urza has a brand spanking new outfit where she actually shows up cleavage. Yes, something she never did before. And of course, you get a chance to see one of her new armors. This Amazura, I think it's how you pronounce it. How you pronounce this particular armor? Because she mentions the name once the whole episode, and it's this magical armor that has like these swords that can move on their own. This is the Atrixia armor. Yep. And she uses to take out a bunch of Avatar soldiers, and she takes on one of its members, the blonde hair guy, and the battle is very brief, and he's taken out by being cut by the sword while not being cut at all. Yeah, says the sword can basically dissolve, can basically dissolve, eat through anything that's metal or flesh. And Urza beats him with like one shot after all of her swords, except for one, are pretty much destroyed. Yeah, and pretty much you have Natsu, Gray, and Lucy taking on a bunch of Avatar soldiers. Of course, Natsu, of course, show up some of his power. He got really strong. He's not even saying like Fire Dragon Roar. I mean, it looks like he's definitely using it. He doesn't say it for some reason. You know, he's clearly using it. And he's used like fire from his fist, take a bunch of the goons. And of course, Lucy basically just summons Tauros. Yep, first time summoning him. And she gets a brand new outfit, a cowgirl outfit. Yep. Yeah, and this outfit is a lot more revealing than the maid outfit. Like, oh my gosh, this is a lot more revealing. I mean, it looked like at one point that Lucy's top was about to come off. Yes. And she apparently is a lot more powerful than Tauros by using her whip. Takes out a bunch of the goons. At one point, they have two of the branch members go and take on Lucy and Gray. Natsu does not take on them at all. Natsu goes after the leader. Excuse me. And it's the girl from the previous episode who was giving her a stomachache. Yes. So, and how she's taken out is quite anticlimactic. Yeah, she's basically getting her stomachache. Of course, Happy's getting it too, and Tauros. And all of a sudden it just stops. Why is it stop? Because Wendy and Carla show up completely out of nowhere. Heck, even Happy points out though, how did they know they were there? Because Julia can detect that another woman is near Gray, and of course they know exactly where it. Also because of Wendy's nose, she's very good at sniffing stuff out. Yeah, dragon slayers have got good noses. So yeah, Carla goes to her human cat form and takes out a bunch of the soldiers. And apparently, Wendy knows Dragon Force magic. Yeah, she knows that now because, yeah. So a lot of people didn't stand on their hands throughout the whole year, so they trained. And apparently, yeah, Wendy can change her hair color from blue to purple. Hmm? Happy, of course, just sits in the silent. He's just basically the series mascot. Yep. Then, of course, we have the crazy woman who who wears a very revealing outfit. Yeah, and of course she splits into four people, and then like the loving one is all of a sudden is taken out by Juvia, who's like right behind Gray, because that's a usual thing. She just shows up right behind him, takes out the loving dovey one of this woman's split personalities, and then Gray freezes him over, and of course she explains how she got there, and then she explains, though, that also, yeah, we should not do this for very long because we're about to be surrounded by a bunch of goons. So they both take off their jackets, and of course, at least that, even though Gray is not wearing a shirt under his jacket anyways, at least that Juvia is wearing a top. Hmm. And she's also, well, revealing her sexy legs with her fairy tale mark on her leg. Yeah, that's the thing about Julia. Her fairy tale mark is on her left thigh. Gray is on his chest. Lucy's is still on her hand, and Natsu is still on, well, his arm. Yeah, and it's also revealed that the black stuff that's on him, yeah, that's like he went to somebody to get that looked at, and apparently he could turn it all off at will. And like, and of course the woman he's battling, like, it was everything you said was a lie, especially E&D. That what he said, that was actually the truth. That was my intention to destroy the book of E&D. Hmm. Yeah, despite the fact some of the battles with anticlimactic was that's basically fairy tales, but it was actually pretty fun to see all these characters have all these villains go flying like crazy, and of course it's great to see these characters' new abilities. Hmm. Juvia, as far as I can tell, you see like one move of hers and that's it. But I think next week's episode we get a chance to see more of her, what her training over the course of the past, what she's done with the past year. I'm sure she's done some training. She's while living with Gray for the past year. So there's that. As far as I know, there are two more episodes left for this entire arc. Yeah, this arc wraps up with episode 7 this particular season. You have the 7th episode, which is episode 284. That is going to be the final episode of this arc. And then from the 8th episode, which is 285, from that point forward, up until the final episode, is the Alvarez Empire arc. But this particular arc so far has just been pretty interesting. At least the plot is advancing forward, and it's one of the more shorter arcs of the series. Yeah, even the manga. If you look at how many chapters this thing had, this only had 20 chapters, and Avatar himself don't show up until like almost halfway through the arc, which is kind of dumb. And they're the villains, but there kind of is a reason for that. You got at least got reunite some characters. First, you have Natsu reunite with Lucy and Natsu and Happy reunite with Lucy, and those two reunite with Happy and Carla, with Carla and Wendy, and eventually Wendy, and then of course Juvia, Gray, and Urza. Hmm. Yep, basically bring it together Fairytale's strongest team. But also that we also get a chance to see what, of course, what Gonjal, Panther Lily, and um, uh, Levy have been up to. Yep. And of course, it's pretty interesting to what they've been up to. They basically work with the Magic Council. Yeah, and they don't show up in this episode, but they do show up next. There's talk about the Magic Council, but they don't show up in this episode, which is a bit of a surprise, but they're going to show up next week. I mean, there's only like 5 chapters left from this particular arc. Yeah, only 5, and I think that next week's episode, I think goes to like chapter 35, and then the last one covers the last 2 chapters. Yeah, my guess is they probably wanted to do 3 chapters, but because they realized, oh my, the arc has only got 2 chapters to go, so maybe starting with, I think that how they're going to adapt basically the remaining 126 chapters is that either they first started out with 2 chapters, but my guess is they probably realized that, yeah, we should probably switch it up to about 3 chapters. Yeah, that's my personal guess anyways, but as of this episode, I mean, if you watch the dub, that means there's only about like 100 and I think it's 13 chapters left. 113. Well, I think after next week it'll be down to 110. Yep. But that's particularly it for this episode. Stay tuned. I was going to do more reviews, but because it's getting kind of late. So tomorrow I'm going to do reviews for Tokyo Ghoul, Black Clover, Ace Attorney, probably another review of the High School DxD light novels, and a review of hopefully the next chapter, The Seven Deadly Sins. Okay? But do you see you next review. Bye.